I'm sure the mere sight of this is already triggering the audiophiles. Yes, it's the Crosley Cruiser, the little suitcase-style record player that everybody loves to hate. It's been on the market since 2012, and by 2014, the experts already predicted that it would lead to the downfall of the entire vinyl record industry.
Crosley turntables are very bad for this business. Kids are going to buy these cruddy turntables. They'll play Dark Side of the Moon 5 times, and then the grooves will all be chewed up, and they'll say, this is a stupid hobby. Why did I get into this?
Luckily, they were wrong, because vinyl record sales have actually continued to increase every year since then. So it turns out these cheap little record players have actually been very good for the vinyl record industry. But just because something is popular doesn't mean it actually has any redeeming qualities. TikTok proves that. And the same is true of these record players. They have a multitude of shortcomings, first and foremost of which is their sound quality, or should I say, complete lack thereof. And that was turned all the way up. And even though the warnings of them destroying your records are greatly exaggerated fear-mongering, their tracking force is heavier than what many people are comfortable with. Plus, the undersized platter is too small to fully support a 12-inch record, causing it to precariously hang off the edge as it spins. And they're famous for skipping when playing bass-heavy records. So, wouldn't it be great if Crosley took the same basic idea as the Cruiser, but introduced something bigger, better sounding, and overall much improved? Well, it turns out they did. This is called the Crosley Keepsake, and it pretty much is the Crosley Cruiser's big brother. But here's the strange thing. Remember what I said about the Crosley Cruiser being introduced in 2012? Well, this was introduced in 2007. Yes, the bigger and better model came first. Then they introduced the smaller and cheaper model, and that's what became the runaway success. The Keepsake did remain on the market until 2018, but it never achieved anywhere near the success of the Cruiser and its many imitators. And the Keepsake has many advantages compared to its smaller spin-offs, one of which you may have noticed right away is that the lid is actually removable. And when you remove that lid, you notice a larger platter. It's still not quite full size, but it's a lot closer. Enough so the records don't hang off the edge as they play. And it's mounted on springs to absorb vibrations. And the tone arm automatically returns at the end of a record, a feature that many more expensive turntables lack. And if this doesn't look like the typical cheap red ceramic cartridge stylus, that's because it's not. This is actually a magnetic cartridge. It's the Chuodenshi MG09D. It's better known as the Groove Tool cartridge, and it normally comes with this red stylus, but the white stylus I put on mine has the same 0.7mm conical diamond tip. And the tone arm is counterbalanced and tracks at around 3.7 grams, which is virtually the same as highly rated turntables from well-respected brands like Audio-Technica and Sony.
It's not bad. It's 3.5 grams. It's not going to ruin your records. It'll take care of your records.
So as long as you keep your records clean, you should have no fear of it damaging your vinyl. But this superior turntable mechanism and lighter tracking tone arm would all be for naught if it didn't actually sound better. Thankfully, it does. Unlike the little Cruiser, it actually has some decent bass response. providing that good sound quality are a pair of 3x5 oval speakers on the sides, which also helps to spread the sound out for better stereo separation. And you also get an adjustable tone control. I think it sounds best right about in the middle. And you 78 RPM fans aren't left out because unlike many turntables, it does support that speed as well. But for the best reproduction of shellac 78s, it is recommended to install a 3mm stylus, such as the Fansteel 901 D3. I'll play a little bit of this 78 that was recorded on April 22nd, 1926. And you can tell by all these scratches around the hole that either somebody had very bad aim or they really liked this record and played it a lot. Well, it cut off a little bit early there. Strangely, the only audio output you get besides the built-in speakers is a USB output for connecting to your computer. There is no line output jack. But you do get an aux input jack, and you can switch it to that. And unfortunately, there's no built-in battery, but you may notice it runs on 12 volts DC. So that makes it relatively easy to connect to the power outlet of a car or a boat or an RV or one of these 12 volt power packs. You just turn it on and plug it in, and that's how you can run it on a battery. So overall it sounds very good, but I could tell it was playing a bit fast, and according to my strobe disc it definitely is. It's playing about 2% too fast. So I'm going to open this up and see if I can adjust the speed to get it more accurate. You just remove the 4 screws around the edges, and if you pull up on it a little bit, we're in. As expected, it has the very typical BSR designed turntable mechanism that has been used in millions of cheap record players since the mid-1980s. The motor doesn't have any discernible brand name on it, but it's a 9-volt DC clockwise motor and has trimmers marked L and H for adjusting 33 1/3 and 45 RPM, and this separate trimmer on the circuit board is for 78 RPM, and on that circuit board is a date of July 2nd, 2007. And the main circuit board for the amplifier has a lot of unpopulated components, including some for what was intended to be a line output, but was never implemented. The amplifier chip is a TDA 2822, and with the supply voltage of 9 volts and an 8 ohm load, it puts out 1 watt per channel. Not exactly a powerhouse, but sufficient for a portable record player. And there is one of the 2 built-in speakers. Has a nice sized magnet on it, and it's rated 8 ohms, 3 watts. And the only other thing of note inside is this other circuit board, which has the preamp for the turntable. That's what it connects to right here, the output of the cartridge. And it also has the USB output chip on it. And a lot of empty space inside. You certainly could fit a 12 volt battery pack in here. And when adjusting the speeds on a turntable like this, you want to start with the highest speed first, because it functions as a divider. So first I tweaked the 78 RPM speed, which was a bit off, and then 45, which was closer but still a little bit off. And once I got those two speeds correct and I switched to 33, I didn't even need to adjust it because it was already correct. It's just the two higher speeds were a little bit off, and that was also affecting 33. So now all the speeds are perfect. Now I'll give you a few direct hookup samples of what it sounds like through the USB output. So if the Crosley Keepsake works so well and sounds so good, why have you probably never heard of it And why did Crosley end up discontinuing it? Well, I'm sure a lot of it was simply due to its cost. When the Crosley Keepsake was introduced in 2007, it had a list price of $150, which is a lot of money to pay for a portable record player. Plus, in 2007, vinyl record sales were pretty much at an all-time low, so the market just wasn't there yet for any kind of new record player. But 5 years later, vinyl record sales were really starting to take off, especially among people who had never owned a record player before. So that proved to be just the right time to introduce a small, inexpensive, and attractively styled record player. And the problem was that all the people who started out with a small, inexpensive portable record player didn't want to upgrade to a larger, more expensive portable record player. Instead, they wanted to upgrade to a real turntable, like an ATL P60, with external speakers instead of built-in ones. Nonetheless, Crosley did introduce an updated version of the Keepsake in 2013 with headphone and line output jacks added, so if you actually want one of these, that's the one to look for. Then in 2015, they went all out with the Keepsake Deluxe, which looks like a Technics SL1200 stuffed into a suitcase. But at a price of $200, very few people were interested and it was quickly discontinued. And finally, in 2018, they replaced the Keepsake with the Portfolio, which also never really caught on and is now discontinued. So Crosley has tried several times to sell bigger and better sounding suitcase-style record players, but the problem is only a few weirdos are actually interested in them, like you if you stayed this far into the video.